So I tell you what, welcome. Welcome to the power training to get you ready for boot camp. Really, I just used the word power training because my last name is Power and it seemed to make sense. And this will be very rudimentary. It's going to be different probably from other teachings that you've had. And I don't read a lot of music and that sort of thing. Almost everything I do is by ear. And I've been playing music all my life, finding my way through it to see how I could play in a way that was satisfying. And when it came to the ukulele, it seemed like it would be even more challenging because there's only 4 strings and how much expression can it have? But I learned a lot. I was fooled by its simplicity, and it really holds a lot of very sophisticated opportunities for us by doing the simplest things. So put on your ukulele, get nice and comfortable, and we'll just put it on to have it in place. And playing music is as much about, the physical body mechanics as it is about playing the right note. And you know, when you hear somebody playing something and it's got a million notes and it just kind of, and it's so fast, you can't even tell what you just heard or feel it, except a little tension because it's 10 pounds of peanuts in a 5-pound bag kind of situation with all those notes. And then maybe you turn the radio to a station and suddenly you just hear something and it's just one note. And there's something about that note that is so simple and expressive in the context that it's in that you exhale and you relax and you start feeling more like yourself. That's what music is about. So one of the things I'm going to be doing with you is teaching you to learn some patterns, and it really is called patterning, and it's very neurological in base, and the whole idea is repetition. What was it, Bill Gates, who said 10,000 times you have to do something to really have it in your system. And I can vouch for that. And we do aim for perfection, but the slop that happens in between, if we handle it respectfully, it often can turn into the best part of the song. So don't be afraid of going outside the lines with the music. But the first thing we're going to do is take a nice, sweet breath in and out. We're not very good at breathing. We're holding our breath a lot these days, so let's do that again. In and out. Good. And then shake it out. Shake it out. Just shake your arms so you can feel it from your neck and your shoulders, rippling out all the way down your muscles, past your elbow, into your hands, your fingers, flapping around. You could almost be flying off the ground. Good one, Marisa. You got that one down. That's good. Okay, take another breath and out. All right, now I'm going to be playing my instrument, which is a baritone ukulele that I have tuned the way Steve fashioned it for our playing. It's just like all the other ukes, not like a baritone. It's C, G, E, A, G, C, E, A. But the bottom, the G, I have a low G. So my G is instead of it's okay. So that way, because I play banjo and guitar primarily, I'm always looking for ascending runs underneath what the tune is doing or playing with Steve. So if you have a high G on your uke, that's no problem. It's going to sound a little different just because it'll be an octave higher than when I play this. You'd be playing this. But they're the same note, just an octave apart. Okay, so just to give you a little resource material for after all of this, when you go on to qualityfolk.com and you go to the dojo section, and you'll see down the drop-down menu, Uke Bootcamp, and to the side of that will be Uke Bootcamp Drills. And that's the page that's for you that will have some sample of this and many other things that we'll do today. And I appreciate your patience as I cobble that together. I never expected to have such a formal setting for this, but it's so exciting to be able to be with you this way. So thank you for participating. So that will be on the Uke drills. You'll find that on our website. In the meantime, I'm just going to tell you what to do. And also on that page will be some of the exercises that we're using. So it probably would be handy for you to be able to do a split screen, perhaps to pull up some of those exercises as we go through things. So what you would be doing is you'd move your Zoom screen over, pull up another screen, go to qualityfolk.com, dojo, and then down the list to Uke Bootcamp, and to the side of that, Uke Bootcamp Drills. So after we've taken our breath, the next thing we want to do is just, I know you can't see my feet, but I'm going to tap my foot, the front of my foot, and sometimes I use the heel of my foot, but I'm going to tap left, right, left, right, left, right. And where you're sitting, make sure you have uncrossed your knees and that you're all at right angles, so all the breath can flow freely, happy chi, good rhythm. So we're going to go left, right, left, right. And as we're doing that, I know this sounds super simple, but just take a breath, find a way to take a breath in for 2 and out. So I'm going to go in, out, in. And you can adjust your tap to your breath if you like, but I want you to get in sync with that. So you know that you're breathing and your breath is going in, out, in. This is what we do. Out, in, out. At our natural rhythm of in, out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like to try to feel it from the ground up so that when my foot is hitting the floor, it's almost like this commitment to what we're doing. You're leaning into it. It's a happy spot. And it can be however you're comfortable. But you'll find a lot of times, I noticed looking on some of these uploads, I sure do a lot of moving around when I'm playing at the dojo. I actually tried to control my movements the last time because it can be distracting. But sometimes when you're first getting into stuff, it's really good to find where it can be in your body. That song, that tune, that little riff, and you'll find your body start to move, even when we do the simplest things, such as the first exercise I'm going to show you. So I just want you to know that your body is invited to this too. This is something we all do together. And some of it is going to be mental, visual, hand and eye coordination. That's going to develop brand new neural trails. I'll warn you right up front, you're going to be so uncomfortable. It's going to be so cranky, crabby. What the heck in the world are you making me do now? But that's when we remember to breathe. So if you start feeling a little tense, try to breathe and let it out. I've been trying to do that a lot lately. All right. So now with my instrument, I'm going to rest my thumb on the 4th string, and I'm just going to tuck my 3 fingers, 1, 2, and 3, under my strings, 1, 2, and 3. And then the thumb is right here resting on the 4th string. I know it's not that easy to see, but there you go. It's like that. If you pulled them all together and your fingers met, your fingertips, you could just gently do that. Just pluck them all at the same time for a second, just gently, and your fingers will meet every time you do that. Okay, like that. Now we're going to rest them back in the nest on the strings. Take a breath. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to rest your ring finger on the soundboard, and I'm going to bring down my thumb to the first string, which paradoxically is on the other side of the instrument, closer to your toes. So that first string, your A string, what I want you to do is our very first exercise. This is going to be the basis of everything that we do at boot camp. And I know we have some strum-hungry people out there, so I should warn you right now, this is a strum-free learning. So we will not be going to the strum room today. In this house, we're going to go to the picking room. And so here we go. Take a breath in, rest your ring finger on your soundboard, and then take your thumb, and your thumb is going to go down, and your first finger is going to go up on the same string. And I'm just going to go down, up, down, up. And when you see my hand, my thumb is actually in front of my first finger. I'm plucking down. So it's very natural from where it is. And don't forget to breathe. And when you feel okay and kind of ready, start speeding it up a little. Back and forth, like you're a flat pick without the pick. Down, up, thumb, one, thumb, one. Let's try that together. We're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just on that string. And we're going to do that until I see that you're breathing again. I don't see one breath out there. Come on. So just find your own rhythm. It's just the one string down and up. In. String yoga. Keep breathing. Okay, you're starting to breathe. I see you're moving a little. Okay, now just for kicks, let's hop down to string 2. Ready? Thumb 1. Good. On board, starting to relax a little into it. Breathing. Good. Now let's try a little string 3. Down, up, down, up. Hardly any movement, and yet so much sound. Down, up, down, up. Good. Now let's hop over to string 4. Yours might be the high 4. Yours might sound like that, or the low G. And home. When I say home, that's when we stop. Take a breath. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. Let's try it again, only this time, let's go both ways. We're going to go all the way from string 1 to 4, and then we're going to climb back to string 1 again, chronologically, and we'll do it just a little bit faster. Okay, take a little breath. Don't have to worry about chording. This is just one little thing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to go a little faster. It could go as fast as that, but we're not going to do that. I can feel that tension. No, we're going to go down to that nice, easy, I can breathe again spot. Whatever that is for you, just back and forth. And let's go from string 1, 4 times, 3, 4, string 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, string 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and string 4, 2, 3, 4, back back to 3. String 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and string 1. Nice. Okay, take a breath. Okay, so that'll be one of the exercises on the Uke Drills page, the first one that you'll come across. So you'll do that in your own pace. And the other thing that I'm going to be introducing a lot, this is one of our regular guests at boot camp. This is Milo the Metronome. And Milo can play slow, moderato, or fast. You can play all these different beats, but it's really a great exercise to just start at some slow beat. And you can have an app on your phone for nothing that does this, I'm sure. And it's just going to go back and forth. And it's good to start a little slower than you're good at, so you can really kind of get in the pocket. And then when that's getting boring, stop it and bring it up a little and make it a little faster. And when that gets boring, then you're going to do it again and just keep going until it gets, and really there's a point where you're going to really want to rock and it's going to be fun. And so this is one of your best tools. And even after more than 50 years playing music, hardly knowing what I'm doing, this has been a great tool because the beat is on, but you can play on the offbeat in between it and do all these things that allow you to know that you are still in time playing in all these other ways around the notes. But first we start with a bump, 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 bump of the beat. So that's Milo, and I want you to do what you can to get your metronome situation sorted out so that it becomes more playful. A lot of people think it's a chore, but really most of the pro musicians I know that when they're using metronomes, they're really doing something active, and it may be fun, it may not be, but it's really great way to work out, just like working out is, right? Okay, so that's your single notes. That's your first exercise. Now, the very next thing, the first page that says, I don't know if you can see this, it's your C scale. It's on your Uke Drills page. And on the page, there are 3 sections. One is the C scale on the top. And what it is also perhaps your first chance of doing a little tablature reading. I don't know. How many people here read tab? Do you guys, anybody? Okay, good. That's a pretty good percentage. I'll tell you, I have only started to do it, so I'm just about as awkward as everybody. Plus, I'm a little dyslexic on top, so it really gets fun sometimes to get it right. But once you figure out how the system works, it's very helpful because you can read it in a literal and visual way. What this is showing me is a 0. First, you have 4 lines. Those 4 lines are your strings of your instrument. And your top string is the line on top. In other words, string 1 is the line on top. And string 4 is the 4th line on the bottom. So strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. Did I do that right? Yeah. So when we start on string 3 at 0, string 3 is going to be 0, 2. What that means is it's open on string 3, open, and then I'm going to pick 2, the 2nd fret. Do, re, si, D. And the one thing you're going to do is with your right hand, it's going to be locked into this new way. And you're only going to do it with your thumb going down and your finger going up. None of this. No, no, no. It's going to be this. Okay, so I'm going to do the scale. I'm going to sample it for you. And when you go to this page, I'll try to be more prepared for you next time. I'm really trying to develop this to teach you this way. But when you go to that exercise on the drill page, this is what it's going to look like. 1, 2, 3, go. So that was all done with alternating thumb and first finger. Also, your fingers are going to correlate a lot of times, not all the time, but in general, fret 1, finger 1, fret 2, finger 2, fret 3, finger 3, and 4 on the 4th fret. Generally, you'll be happy to know that I'm a really lazy musician, and so I'm going to teach you all my shortcuts and ways to not make it as complicated as it could be. But let's try that C scale again, and if you learn it by ear, all the better. It won't matter at all. But the scale written in tab will remind you where everything is. And so let's try that again. We'll do it nice and slow. The scale is going to go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then roll back, descending. All right, 1, 2, positions, engage. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Ti, la, oops, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And it doesn't hurt to be kind of telling yourself, oh yeah, that's what these notes are on these strings in these places. Your ear has the first spot in the line, but your brain is also trying to figure out, well, what am I doing? But mainly we're going after the sound. You know what a C scale sounds like. That's what you want. And you're just going to go back and forth over and again in your own time, like that. That exercise has a few audio files on the page, on the uke drill page, for you to play with, and you can, it'll help remind your ear. And it's also right next to the page that has the scale on it. So that's your C scale. We're going to start. Everything in this is home base with the C, the key of C, because it has no sharps and flats. It's the people's key on the ukulele. Everybody knows how to play a C chord. And of course, you're a lot more advanced than just playing a C chord. But we'll start with C just so you can see how it relates to F and G. Because the other thing that happens that I think is so nice, when you put numbers to all of this, then I don't quite have it here. But if I were to play it here, there's my C, right? My C, if I'm playing in the key of C, is my 1. And so D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G 5, A is your 6, B is the 7, and 8 is your octave. That's your do, 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 do. So the reason to tell you that, which is probably more than, yeah, you probably already know all of this, but a lot of the times in the language of musicians, especially when they're not reading dots on paper, they're talking in the number system. And so if I tell you I'm playing in the key of C, this is a straight 1-4-5 tune, but in the chorus, there's a 2. Well, that tells me that I'm going to be in C, 1, F is my 4, G is my 5. But then what's a 2? Well, a 2 is a D. So let's hear that. So sometimes when you are playing a regular kind of tune, but you hear what we call a crooked piece to it, a crooked chord, the thing that says, what the heck is that? Sometimes it's a 2 because it's a little more dissonant than the 1-4-5. A great deal of the American Songbook has been written in 1-4-5 one way or the other. So this is a good place for us all to start. So what I like to do with, once you get your C scale going and you're feeling pretty good with that, then you get to play El Bell, which is a song that Steve wrote years ago. It's the simplest thing in the world. But as you'll find, a lot of the simpler things have some real hidden secrets to the more complex things. So that's a great place to start. El Bell is a little tune, and it's in tab on that same piece of paper on your drill sheet on the website. And the tune, we also have audio and a couple of versions of recordings that we have with it. But the thing I just want to say about it that's good for you to know is that songs are built in parts, and you'll have your A part and your B part, which is often like your verse and chorus. And then in tunes, you'll have an A part and you play it twice, and then your B part and you play that twice, and then you roll back to the A part. So for example, in old-timey music or in Irish music, you'll play A part, B part, B part 3 times. So A, B, B, A, B, B, A, B, B. That's a complete tune. And at that point, you're going to flip into the next tune if you're doing a set of tunes. So when we're talking about parts, that's part of the form of how the tune or the song is built. So El Bell has 2 parts. The A part starts on the first string, and we're going to use our reciprocal picking. There's a reciprocal pick between the thumb and the first finger. And I'll play it fast for you first, just so you can hear how it goes. And then I'll play it slowly, and we'll all do it together. So 1, 2, 3, El Bell. B part. Sorry. Now, how many people do you have this to look at when you're doing it? Okay, good. So let's try that nice and slow. And the thing that's gonna have you going like this and this, tapping your belly and that whole thing, is that we really are only gonna do thumb, first finger for each note. And we're gonna trade off with each other. So that little exercise you learned at first, now it's going to split out into a little tune. So I'm going to go 1, 2, let's try it together, 3, 4. And again. And open. And do that again. That's your A part. Now the B part, you're going to pinch together the 2 strings 2 and 3 up here on fret 3 and 4. That's your pinch. It's just my thumb and first finger, my thumb on string 3 and my first finger on string 2, and I pinch at the same time. And your fingers will meet when you do that. Pinch, pinch. Pinch, pinch, open, pinch at first and second fret. Let's do that again. Boom, then open. Frets 3 and 4. That's literally what the page is telling you. Now, some other things are going to happen as you're playing, and you'll find a lot of times if there's a rest spot that I will play my bottom string to kind of fill it in. I could be going. So your thumb is a very busy element of your hand. It really has a lot of command over the territory, in that as you're playing lovely little chords and things, your thumb may want to add a little bit more from underneath. So I'll give you an example of that here. So all of that thumb action on the fourth string was extra. It's not necessary. I just like the resonance of that. And so it also gives my thumb something to kind of do to contribute when there's nothing else going on. Also, if you're playing the chords, or say you're playing with a friend and they're going to play it with you while you're doing the melody, they'll be playing a C, D minor, and back to C. So we put those chords on there so you have it. This is the only time you're going to get away with strumming, so go for it if you want to. All right, good. So anybody have any questions about what we're doing so far? How's that feeling? Okay, good. Okay, if you do have a question and we come to a moment like this, raise your hand and we'll unmute you and we can address anything that's and also, if you wouldn't mind making your screens so that I can see your hands and your instrument along with your beautiful faces, then I can tell if there's something I can help you with, or how you're doing out there. Okay, Elbel, well, thank you so much for that. That's much better. But now I can't tell who I'm talking to. I'll have to look at your names. Okay. Some of you are headless now, but I can see your hands and instruments. Don't lose your head. It's okay. We're going to get through this. All right. So Elbel was the first song I learned about tab and how to write it and how to follow it. And so take your time with that until your finger, your thumb and your first finger are just rolling it out. And you haven't really gotten there yet until you notice, oh, I can breathe. So almost everything I teach you, we're going to go to that spot. We're going to do it until we're breathing. Because if we do that, then you really are patterning it into your system and it becomes more autonomic. So that's Elbel. Now, already we've gone through 40 minutes and I have many more things to show you. And all of the things that I'm going to show you, this is just an introduction so that you know what you're in for at boot camp. And the things that we'll do there are identical to what I'm teaching you. We'll just do it a little quicker in boot camp because you'll have it in your fingers. Now the other thing, now the next page you would go to would be the pinch picking. A lot of people end up coming to this because they like a particular way that I play, which is a little different. This is the page, pinch picking, on your uke drills. We'll do that again. And this is from the Homespun DVD on that Steve and I did. This was, I can't remember if this was DVD 1 or 2. I think it's 2. But what it did, in the middle here is a pinch picking version of your C scale. So by now you've got your single note one. So this will be fun for you. And this is where the juice is, getting into the pinch picking. And on top of it, we have a really wonderful version of You Are My Sunshine. I know you all know how that goes, that you can adapt this to do that. And then underneath are several exercises you can do with the pinch picking C scale. And all of these, I believe, are on the drill page in audio form, so you can follow it too. So I'm just going to show you the same way we did our scale before. Now we're going to do a pinch picking version that only deals with strings 2 and 4. They will be the only ones you play. I'm going to rest my ring finger on the soundboard, and I'm going to have my thumb on string 3 and my first finger tucked under string 2, and I'm going to pluck that open. That's your do. That's your do. G, C, and E together. So you have your 1 and 3 together. Isn't that pretty? That's your do or your C. Now we're going to put our finger on fret 1 and 2. We're only going to use strings 2 and 3. So it'll always be 2 and 3. So fret 1 and 2. That's your re or your D interval. C, D. Now I'm going to slide that right up to frets 3 and 4. Let's just do those 3. We'll go up and down. We'll go do, re, mi, re, do. Okay, try that yourself. Do, re, mi, do, re, do. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. C, D, E, D, C. You are going to use this so much. So now I'll show you the whole scale, and one of the exercises on your drill page has it broken down in little 3s like that all the way up. And this is one of the things that I like to teach you to do, to cultivate playing things in little bits of 3 notes at a time. I'll show you what I mean. Here we go. That's your scale. And if it's not what I call a split between 2 frets, it'll be what I call a vertical on the same fret. So when we get up to fret 5, you're going to tuck your ring finger underneath. And 7 is the vertical also. And then you split again on 8 and 9, 9 and 11. And then 12 is your octave. That's going to be a vertical. And the beautiful thing about the octave is that's where your yummiest harmonics live. So we'll play with that too. So what I want to show you right now, though, is when you go to your drills to start playing with this stuff, one of them is, this is a really valuable exercise, will just be like this. And then the next one. The next one. So we're doing little roundabouts, one at a time, with 3 figures. And then just start coming back. I know it seems kind of backwards, huh? That's because what we're doing is creating reciprocal motion. So we know it going up and going down. And we can breathe at the same time. If you can do that, you get a gold star. I'll send it to you in the mail. So that is the foundation of all the exercises you'll learn here. I'll give you the whole thing, and then we'll break it up into little digestible pieces. When you're doing it, there's a good chance that some songs are going to come to mind, and you're going to start thinking, wow, this, I know how to play this. this way. So you'll have a melodic way to play. And You Are My Sunshine at the very top of your page, there's the perfect example. And it goes like, you are my sunshine. And I'm only doing strings 2 and 3. My own. See, that's just a half step. My own. I didn't go all the way down to the 1. I just went, my only sunshine. So that'd be, are my sunshine, my only sun. Open and up. You make me 5, and then all the way up to 8 and 9. When skies are gray, not blue but gray, you'll never know, 8 and 9 split, how much I love, open, you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. And then I like to do this little Scooby-Doo. So because you're learning the scale, you also have all the great stuff in between. So as I go from C to D, you are my sun, there's that little space in between. Oh, you know you could do something with that. So another fun exercise is to explore the spaces in between by doing something like this. So we go 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4 frets. It's an important place, this first position down here, because there are so many songs, hundreds of songs you already know that you could use this in. Oh, won't you hear that lonesome whippoorwill? All I did was chord one little thing. Sounds too blue to fly. That midnight train is winding low. I'm so lonesome I could cry. So that's a really juicy little 3 frets. You can do so much with that. Once you learn that, you can start relaxing your pace with it and fool around, just like you're kneading bread or something, with what's going on where. Like, I didn't plan that. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of having a little fun. But we're going to learn in boot camp and here. If you keep coming back to power training and I have the same group, we can evolve pretty quickly, and we'll learn slides and hammer-ons and pull-offs and all kinds of good stuff like that. So that is your pinch picking C scale, and that's a bunch for you to take in. But I think once you sit down with this and really take your own time with it, and even if you just do a little bit at a time, a remarkable amount can absorb in a short time. Steve and I are fond of saying if you just play 1 minute a day, that your chops will really improve. Well, the exercises that I put on the drill page for you are 1 minute. All the exercises I do, I think I'm just going to, unless it's a song, if it's just a drill, I'm going to make it 1 minute, because you know you can do 1 minute. And when it starts feeling long, when you're like halfway there, and then you keep doing it anyway, you're getting there. And all of a sudden, before you're done, my goal is that you're breathing while you're doing that exercise. All of you are holding your breath right now. Let's take a breath in and let it go. I'm the same way. That's the only reason I'm teaching you, because this is what I have found. And the more you breathe, the more musical you are going to breathe. Your musicality will just be completely natural. So each person here has a different sense, a different taste, a different flavor for music. So we can each play the C scale, pinch picking it, and express it in all these different ways for as many people as we have here, and still do it right and in union with each other. So we want our timing to be right. We want Milo involved. He's gonna be our beat guy, and tapping your foot, checking that you're breathing, and be gentle on yourself. The most uncomfortable time is when you don't know exactly how to do it and you haven't patterned doing it. I have a very funny thing happening right now. Kala Ukulele, the biggest ukulele maker in the world, is a great friend of ours, and they have endorsed us for many years, and they love Steve's art and our singing and our playing, and especially our little Johnny Appleseed efforts with the ukulele. Well, FedEx is out there, and they've just delivered 2 very large boxes of ukuleles that need some work on them, so Kala can't sell them. So Steve will fix them up and give them to, well, we've got a bunch of people waiting. The immigrant kids for Pass the Mic, when he gives them ukuleles, they don't know it when they get them, but they get to keep them, and it's really great. So they need some more, and Steve told Kala, and they said, okay, we'll check the warehouse, and now we have 2 more boxes to fix up and get out there. So you playing music is just as important, because when you play, you're feeling better, your neighbors are going to feel better, you get to harmonize. Okay, now we talked a little bit about the pick scale. We've just got 10 minutes left, so I want to just run through some of the other things that we're going to learn here to get you ready for boot camp. There are runs, ascending and descending runs that we do, and of course everything's going to be in the C scale for now. We've been doing strings 2 and 3 for that scale. That's a run that can go all the way up and down again. And then you can use little parts of it like we did. Things like that. So all you need to be snazzy, to do Sentimental Journey that way, is that little strings 2 and 3. I'm just doing it from open here. I will tab this out for you guys. We're not going to do this all today, but I just want you to know what you're in for. We'll also do runs on strings 2 and 4. That has a different timbre and is really a sweet sound and something you'll use a lot. You might go up here. So there's so many ways you can just beautify the simplest thing. So for this next week, while you're experimenting, fool around a lot with these first, especially the first 5 frets, strings 2 and 3, strings 2 and 4. And don't be afraid to go up to the vertical on 5. Now you have a full phrase. You could do it up here too on 2 and 4. So that has an effect. I feel better playing that. When I play that, there's something about that vibration that just opens up my solar plexus and I can breathe again. That's what music's for, right? So we will work on ascending and descending runs. I've got a bunch of them on the page for you. If you want to explore with your ears, you will find them, and I will try to tab out the rest in short order. One of the ways this is manifested is in our song Crush, which is also on your page, of course. And it's a really fun, this is really fun to play. That's Crush. And on the page in the Dojo songbook and your uke drill page, you'll see on the top line here, I have the intro run going up, the ascending, and then the descending. I put them on the same line so you could practice them together. But in the song, you're going to do an ascending to go into the beginning. And then when you get to the end, you're going to do a descending here. So this is just a little practice group. And then we get into playing the song. So I'm going to show you by demonstration, just a little quickie, what this is going to look like when you're playing. You're going to go, this is one of your greatest runs in the key of C, especially if you have a low G. Okay, so that is string 4, fret 2, finger 2, fret 4, finger 4, like that. And you're going to go boom, 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 thumb, finger, thumb. And then the next note is going to be your open string 3. So it goes. So that's your ascending line. 2, 4, open. String 4, 3. So do that and try to do it in correct form until you're breathing again. If you find you're breathing, you're setting the pudding. The other half of that line is the end run going down, descending. And I already showed you this a little bit. I just love this one. And frets 3 and 4 with strings 2 and 3 and fingers 1 and 2. So many numbers. Okay, we're going to pick that. Same thing all the way down. Just take your time. Pick, 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 open. Nice. So when I couple that with the introduction, you can practice it like this, which is a little more fun. And you can do it nice and slow. Noel, I can't see you. I see your beautiful face. I can't see your instrument or your fingers, though. You doing okay? Okay. One thing I noticed really does help if you anchor your right hand. It should be snug as a bug in a rug somewhere, whatever is comfortable for you, whether it's your pinky, your ring finger, just so that that gives you that sense of proximity for your fingers to know where the heck am I going to be on the strings. So if I'm here and I have to move down here, or I have to move over here, it's a good fulcrum to pivot from. So, and you'll just find it's your spot. Because if you're out here and your fingers are trying to do it without it, then it's driftier, it's harder. You really want to do this from the inside out and make it as easy on yourself as you can, and really find your breath with what you're playing. Okay, so that was the top line there. Then the song itself, I'll just run through once for you. It'll go like this. And I'll just say, there is a tab, a glossary, I think, on there. But if I have a little accent between the number, a little hump, I have one here that goes 1 to 0. That just means I'm pulling off if it's a down facing. So that's a pull off. And if I have a tilde looking one, that's going to slide. So like from 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, that'll look like a little tilde in between the frets you're playing. You'll see it on there. So let me play this for you. It'll go like this. And then you're running back up into the next part. So you heard that last final descending run and then that part. So that'll be one of the songs you learn, and that is on your uke drill page. And the other thing we'll get into is some Travis picking, which you'll have a page for also on that page that looks very basic, like this. And all it's going to be, we're going to use the Travis pick an awful lot. It's a great pick, and it's the core of folk playing and all kinds of stuff. But it's just thumb, thumb one, thumb two, thumb one. Let me play a chord. Thumb. You can start with thumb one, thumb two. I'm doing a C chord, and I'm just doing thumb one, thumb two on my right hand, thumb one, thumb two on strings 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1. And we do this till we can breathe again. There we go. And then that's going to evolve into the real Travis pick, which is more of a thumb, thumb, one, thumb, two, thumb, one, thumb, thumb, one, thumb, two, thumb, one, thumb, thumb, one, thumb, two, thumb, one, thumb, rest, thumb, one, thumb, two, thumb, one. So that's the more evolved Travis pick. And then last but not least, we usually end our boot camp with a wonderful combination of lines in what's simply called harmonic melody in C. And this is just to teach you about harmonics and how to bring it all in. When I get to play a harmonic at the end of a tune, it's sort of my reward. It's my ta-da, you know, is that because it just rings. That is so pretty. I just love that. So harmonics are an important part of things because they're also mathematically the most perfect spot on your fingerboard. The Pythagorean theory was that between your bridge and your nut, the exact middle is that 12th fret. And if the math is right, as the measurements go, that harmonic should be just beautiful. That wasn't good because that was on the 10th fret, like that. Now, and a good trick to know, like if you're shopping for an instrument, say you have it all in tune and you check your harmonic on your 12th fret, and then you play that 12th fret, it should be the same note. If it's flat or sharp when you fret it after you've done the harmonic, then you have intonation issues. So don't get that instrument unless you've talked about it. Let's see. So the piece that I want to show you, well, first I just want to show you a little bit of how. Is anybody in a super hurry? We're running a little over time, but it's okay with me if it's okay with you. This is the ending part, and it's just so sweet. And it's confusing for people at first because we're used to fretting with our fingertips curled in. But what this is going to be is just laying the pad of our finger on the top very gently, just enough so it's being felt. And then I'm going to pick with my thumb on the right hand, and I'm going to pluck and go away. Pick and off. You have to come off fast enough for the sustain to have room to happen, to vibrate. So you go boom. It's kind of a quick da 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 ba dee 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 dee. I bet that's how that commercial got written. So try practicing just laying your finger gently. You're not fretting, you're not pushing in. You're just on top enough of it to meet it fully enough that it can give you that bell. And can you see how my finger is coming off when I do it? You have to be right on it. It's pretty exact. There are other harmonics on the 5th fret and 7th fret, but they're thuddier. the 12th fret is the yummiest spot in the whole world. And it is the exact midpoint between your bridge and your nut. So it makes sense that this is where it happens. Now, let me play a little bit of what you'll be playing. First, try to get used to getting your harmonic. And a lot of times when you stop thinking about it so much, that's when it all happens. So just relax and try it out. And then what we're going to do, this is the little exercise. The very first line of it is this. And I'm just doing harmonics on the 12th fret. Second line. Now I tend to use my pinky when I'm going to do something like this because I know my hand's going to get busy down here. So I need these fingers to be ready. So I don't really want to use them there. I could, but the efficiency of movement with your hand makes a huge difference in your speed and quality of sound. So let's try that again. I'm going to do, I think I've got a number of parts for this, and you're also invited to make up your own parts and bring them to me and we'll add them. You can play whatever you like, of course, but this is how it goes. Part 1. That's part 1. Now part 2 is a little harder because it's the 5th fret. I should probably throw that one out, but it is good to try to practice the 5th fret harmonics. I might find another part for that. And then part 3. I should probably rewrite this a little bit to make it a little easier for you. Then the part 4, this one, because it's a little pizzicato, I decided not to write it all out and I just drew a bunch of arrows. So all I'm doing on fret 3 and then 2 and then 3 and 2 is I'm just going, remember that first exercise? So all I'm going to do is go 3rd fret. Mm-hmm. See? So it's just thumb one, thumb one, thumb one, thumb one. So this is, that's a great one to get used to doing. And you can play, just play around with it. And then the last part is this, part 5. Try that one more time. And a pull off. This one will be the hardest one for you. This is the hardest one for me. Doing fret 2 and 4 at the same time on strings 3 and 4. Because a lot of times when you're pulling off from 2 and 3, you're going to come down here. So if you find little rough spots like that, do them until you can't do it anymore. Just, you'll find there are little corners that are difficult for you, and then just find the note before it and the note after it and work it out. Just do it again and again and again. So all of these parts can be played together. And when we boot camp it together, it's so lovely to have all 5 parts going at the same time. So play around with it. If there's something you don't like about it, write something better. I think I wrote this in 10 minutes in New Jersey last summer. So to have something to play with harmonics, because harmonics are so fun. And there are infinite possibilities with those simple notes. So that would be the place where we play at the end of boot camp, and then we're done. And the chimey bell notes of the harmonics make us feel really good. And when we're all together, wow, the sound is amazing of all those parts being played together. I'll have to scratch my head and figure out how we can actually hear each other someday, but to have all those parts. But one of the things you could do is with your own little recorder in your phone, record the first part and then play the second part to it, or forget the second part, it's too hard. Just go 1, 3, 4, 5. And you can play to that. And then try the next part to the first part and just practice it that way, because it'll give you a little anchor to play with, because you don't really have the joy of it until the parts start coming together. They're sweet by themselves, but together they're really pretty. So that is that. And then as we evolve in boot camp, we do take things like Crush and Sentimental Journey and Four Strong Winds, or different songs, Sandhill Cranes, and we work on the motifs that are used to make them special and really fun to play. And that's my job, is to make this more fun for you. And I know people have been so dedicated to the ukulele this past 20 years that we've been involved with it. And it's just a stunning social movement that I think belongs in this time right now. We need something like this for nourishment and a way to bring sweetness on. It's absolutely the sweetest instrument you could pick. So, and that's coming from a non-believer. I was not interested in ukulele at all, and it's taught me more than anything. So just goes to show you, go lean into that discomfort and we'll just come out so much better. We'll figure it out, and we'll start with the music. And if you like how this went, please let me know how you're doing and what would help you more. And if you think it's a good idea, we'll try to do this every week. And let me know if this timing works for you. I don't know if I'm going to upload this to YouTube. I think if I do, it'll be a private list. So it would be you. So you could revisit this, but I don't really want it just out there without all the support that needs to go with it. So it's just wonderful to be here with you. I hope I get to see you again. And if you decide to donate a tip, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if there's anything we can do to make this sweeter for you, please just let us know. This is a good time to do that. So thank you for being with me today. And I look forward to seeing, maybe some of you are boot campers, I'm not sure. But if you're not, you will be soon. And I look forward to seeing you there too. Monday is going to be a nice day now. I didn't like Mondays for a while, but I think I like it better now. So I wish you a peaceful week, good health, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you for being with me today. Let me know how it went. Bye.